cmpradio.net, the voice of Chester.
Good evening. This is your cool ass conversations with Will Morgan, the deputy mayor of the city of Chester. Again, that's cool ass conversations with Will Morgan. I appreciate CMP Radio for providing me with an opportunity to come up here in front of the audience, the crowd, the city of Chester, whomever may be tuned in watching this show, watching me, to be able to speak on things that I want to speak on, offering me the platform to just open up and really to just take a step down from the platform that I hold as being an elected official here in the city of Chester. As you all know, I hold that position gracefully, and I want to be able to do something a little different on a consistent basis. To offer a different version, not only of myself, but of the local government that we have here in the city of Chester. So this show is called Cool Ass Conversations with Will. Again, that's me. I'm Will. This first episode is going to be sponsored by Morgan's Consulting. Morgan's Consulting is the family-owned, black-owned agency, brokerage company that will provide and or supply all of the insurance needs that you're looking for to create and finalize a legacy for yourself or for your family. So things that are offered are life insurance, whether it's whole life, term life insurance policies. We focus on IRAs, all types of retirement vehicles, annuities as well. So if you have any interest, want to inquire, receive free quotes, look into your current policies and get those updated and or amended to fit your future needs. Again, you can reach out to Morgan's Consulting, reach them by cell phone at 610-348-6540. Again, that's Morgan's Consulting at 610-348-6540. Or you can email them at wmorgansconsulting@gmail.com. That is wmorgansconsulting@gmail.com. Again, that's for all your life insurance retirement needs as well. So that's Morgan's Consulting. But again, we're here today on this beautiful Wednesday evening, here to provide to you a conversation with Will, a cool ass one at that. And what I want to do is, in this first episode, I want to provide, an introduction of the show. Talk to you about what we'll provide on a bi-weekly and or bi-weekly basis every month. Talk to you a little bit about myself. I think that's very important for those individuals who don't know me, don't know the platform that I hold, and don't know the things that I'm trying to do here for the city either. So I want to be able to provide a lot of that information here today. Before I get started, you'll be provided with an email. The email is going to be very simple, very similar to the show, except that it won't have the $ and the ads. But it'll be coolassconversationswithwill@gmail.com. What you can do is you can email any types of questions, comments, concerns that you may have for me or for the local government if you don't want to reach out to my City of Chester email address. And those are some things that I'll be able to provide outside insight on this show, and I'll make sure to keep you yourself anonymous if you choose to. For the record, and I'll be unfiltered on this show. Just like I'm unfiltered at other platforms or other meetings that I'm in, I'm straightforward, I'm thorough, and I'm going to keep it 100 no matter where I am. But don't email me with the BS because I won't respond to it or I won't bring it forth to the show. So provide me with the same respect that you would expect to be provided with, and we can all move forward in one accord and get things done. So again, this first episode with Cool Ass Conversations with Will, you're going to hear me say that a lot often. I want y'all to get that stuck in your head so you don't forget what it is, who it is, and why we're here. So, but this first episode, again, I want you to learn about the show, things that we'll be talking about. I think here and or know here in the city of Chester that many of us, and I was once one of those individuals, so but many of us are uneducated or not knowledgeable about the different forms of government on a local level, on a county level, state, and federal. So here on this show, on particular meeting topics, I will be able to provide you with the different types of governments, what the city, your local government, your county council members, your mayors are able to do locally, and how important and vital they are for your everyday ways of living, such as approving ordinances and bills of zoning and planning, and or approving resolutions for hirings, for grants, and those types of things that really directly affect you, again, on a day-to-day type of basis. So I want to be able to educate the public on those types of things, as well as knowing who you need to reach out to. So if it comes to something on the state representative side, or if it comes from something on the federal side, for federal government, to those senators and Congress, men and or women, to get your point across, or to get some solutions to the problems that you have in your neighborhood, in your community, in your household, whatever the case may be. So those are just a few points. But I think that, and I know that that's important for us all as we try to move in one accord, as we try to move forward. So oftentimes when I sit up in a council meeting, there are individuals that come over to the council meetings and try to bring forth a problem to city council, in which, of course, we always want to make sure your voice is heard. But we also want to make sure that you're directing your anger or your frustration out at the right parties, the right authority, the right entity. So we can be the bridge to that, but we don't have control over that. So again, we will be talking about the different forms of government and how we can better educate ourselves on within that category and within that area. The next thing I want to talk about, though, is finance and business. I say this often, but we live in an era where it is cool to be business savvy. Like, that's a real thing nowadays, and I'm excited about that. I love it. I myself, of course, not just an elected official, but also an entrepreneur as well. And it's something that's important for me, myself, my family, my friends and colleagues, that we have something of our own that we can call our own, and it's not just a 9 to 5. So I get frustrated when I talk to my elders or my peers, or we usually call them seasoned individuals or wiser people, because I believe, unfortunately, that some of those individuals, if not majority of them, their ways of doing business or getting money into their pockets or feeding their family, majority of them was working at pretty much a 9 to 5, blue collar type of work. And now I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but in today's day and age, that's not our ways of living. We're trying to find out how we put money into our own pocket and build up our own family and have those wealth conversations. So I want to be able to come to this platform and bring other individuals that are knowledgeable within the finance industry and talk about banking, talk about your credit, talking about stocks and bonds and equity, and understand that having home ownership or owning your own home, that there's equity within that. Knowing that your credit is very valuable and very important, and don't let nobody else tell you otherwise, because it's most certainly something that you want to keep track of and monitor and keep above board, because you most certainly can do a lot of things with credit. And then talk about different other business initiatives. So if that's you trying to invest in a property, and use it as an investment property and or Airbnb? What's the best ways to go about things like that? What's the best ways to create a business plan and the things that should be included in that business plan? And where you can go as a resource to get the information, free information, of course, to be able to get that business plan started and not just started, because a lot of times we create these LLCs, these S corps and nonprofits. We get these binders or this folder of information, and we get it. We're ecstatic. I'm proud for you, for sure. But I don't want that information to just come to your household and sit on your desk and collect dust. We need to find out how we put our plan into action, how we execute on the things that we put forth. So I want to be not somebody that's kind of tearing you down, but I most certainly will hold you accountable. And I want you to come back to Will and say, and prove me wrong, that you've done what you set out to do, and hopefully put your best foot forward and with all of the faith that you had in yourself, to continue on in the journey that you needed to do or wanted to do for yourself. So with that, we'll have guests to talk about some of those finances. I have one great individual who's been in the stock market for years, and he's been able to educate me on, don't just invest in different companies and buy shares in them. Understand how they make money. And so you'll learn about the McDonald's and how they make money. You'll learn about Best Buy and Louis Vuitton and Hennessy on how they actually generate revenue and how a good amount of those individuals are partners as well. So those are the things that I'll be able to bring to the table here, along with many other things in our conversations with Will, cool ass conversations with Will. I want to be able to provide a secondary type of update of local government initiatives and projects that's going on. So many of you see me on a twice a month type of basis in council meetings. And of course, some of you see me in the community at different community projects. But when we're handling city business, is normally during our council meetings. And at times, our council meetings are held in the morning at 10 a.m. And a good amount of you have a 9 to 5, or you just taking care of your family, you doing other things on your free leisure time, especially in the summer times, as you might be on the beach relaxing. And I wish I was there with you. But I want this to be that secondary type of platform to get a catch up on the things that's been discussed in the council meetings, the things that's been approved on, and things that's been considered. So I will be providing some of that information here as well for local government. Now, one thing that I will say is people talk about transparency, and most certainly I want to be here to offer transparency, honesty, and give the nuts and bolts about the things that we're trying to do here for the city of Chester. But I want all of you to keep in mind that there are some conversations that mayor and council have internally and or with contractors, developers, bidding processes and whatnot, that we have to remain confidential until it gets to a certain point to where we can make those things public. So if I'm able to tell you some information, I'll tell you it. But if I have to hold back until I get more detail, until it's legally allowed for it to be pushed out into the public, then I have to go by those standards for sure. So, and I don't mind letting you know that at all. So I don't mind being transparent and providing you all with the proper information that you need, so that you can know how to kind of better guide your life or your day or your week-to-week type of schedule as well. Because the things that we do will affect you in a positive and or negative way. And I don't say that with any harm or malice, but I do know, again, that we make decisions here as mayor and council, and it can affect everyone. And I do know that at times everyone might not be able to benefit from that. So it's hurtful to say that, but it's really the nature and the business that we're in as we look to move the ship forward for our community, our neighborhood, and the city of Chester. So today, while I'm on that though, today we did have a council meeting this morning. It wasn't a big agenda, actually. It was very small. The only two agenda items that was on there was this mayor and council approved to send, I want to say 4 and or 5 applicants to the police academy. So this is something that we push forth via our hiring process to try to hire more police officers, increase public safety here in the city of Chester. Out of that, I think we have 5 that are going to be going to the police academy. And that process takes a few months. I want to say 5 or 6 months before they get turned back over to the city of Chester and get pushed out to the patrol and continue through their training on site. So that was something that mayor and council passed. And then again, it was just our bi-weekly or every, this is something that's always on our agenda, which is our expenditure list for bills and expenses that the city of Chester pays out on a week-to-week or a bi-weekly and or month-to-month type of basis. So those were the only 2 agenda items. We did provide some proclamations to 2 individuals today that handles the basketball leagues over at the Boys and Girls Club. So it was great to acknowledge and those individuals and show their appreciation for the work that they do in the community and at the Boys and Girls Club for the youth individuals and the adults as well. So that was the things that mayor and council spoke on. And of course, we had to answer any types of public comments that came forth to the microphone as well. So I won't go in detail of that, but I did want to give you an idea of some of the things that I try to speak on, as I think that it's all very important and valid. But I think some of those resolutions can affect individuals more than the others. So again, it's Cool Ass Conversations with Will. The first episode is sponsored by Mortgage Consulting, offering all of your life insurance, retirement needs, annuities, IRAs, whatever you need to set your family, yourself up for a better future, for a better legacy. Reach out to Mortgage Consulting at 610-348-6540 or WMorgans with an S consulting at gmail.com. The first episode, again, I want to talk about myself. I think I know that I'm not a person that talk about myself enough and or a lot. I'm very humble. Oftentimes when I speak, I'd say we and not I and or me. And I do that with graciousness because I believe and I know. I got to get some water, y'all. I believe that I wouldn't be here without my family, my son, my parents, my relatives, my friends. My upbringing has created an individual or helped create and manifest an individual that's been a dope person for society. So I want to be able to pat myself on the back at times because I don't do it enough. None of us do it enough, I believe. Well, I won't say none of us, but quite a bit of us don't do that enough. I don't talk in third person a lot, but today I want to speak a little bit on myself and tell you all about some of who I am, some about the things that I've been through on my council seat. And this will probably be the last time that you'll hear about myself, but I do think that this is something that I needed to do so that you can understand who Will really is. So with that being said, Will Morgan, some of you know me as councilman, as deputy mayor of the city of Chester. Of course, born and raised here, homegrown, been here all my life, now 31 years old with a son that I call Pop, who's now the age of 5. And I love to death and most certainly has changed my life and my outlook on things as well. The evolution of a child from birth to crawling to walking to talking and just them growing into their personality. It's amazing to see. And now that has allowed me to kind of better suit myself as to what I need to do here for the city of Chester and for myself in the long term and the longevity of my life as well. So, but I got into this position in 2016 when I was appointed at the position. Won my election in 2018 and in 2020 as well. But in 2016, when I was offered the opportunity, already working in the city of Chester, did not know what I was getting myself into. Like many individuals that haven't ran for office before, but they're putting their name in a hat. But I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And I always knew that I wanted to help people, but did not know in what magnitude that would be in. And I say because there's oftentimes that you might see someone in need of financials, in need of money, like a transient individual on the streets, and or a friend, and or a nonprofit, and you always want to provide some type of nominal donation, whether it's $5, $100, whatever you can scrounge upon, whether it's you're in your car or your home or your piggy bank. So I've done that often. We've all done that often. But when this position was offered and thought about for myself, I thought that I can be a person of help and assistance on a larger scale, and it's been able to do just that. I've been able to help individuals get career jobs. I've been able to help individuals get housing. Been able to create projects and programs and or donate large amounts, not from myself personally, but with the connections that have been built to be able to assist in different projects and programs that we have going here in the city of Chester and the community. So this position, again, though it was some form of doubtful, it wasn't doubt that I did not want to help my city. It was more so doubt that I would do a good job or a solid job in the role that I was taking on. So people ask me all the time, do you like what you do? And I always tell them just true transparency, man. I don't necessarily like what I do because it comes with a lot. It comes with a lot of late phone calls, late and or early phone calls. It comes with a lot of headaches, but I love who I do it for. I love that I'm doing it for the city of Chester, for the community, for my black and brown folks, or majority of them are black and brown. They're all now all black and brown, but I love that I'm working for a community that is a part of the things that I've been a part of in my upbringing. So, and I love that I'm working with colleagues and employees in City Hall that are from here as well. So I can have those same types of conversations about things that's going on in the neighborhood and some of those historical individuals, and they know exactly what I'm talking about and know how to connect the dots. So it's a blessing for sure. I don't take it lightly, and I'm here for the long haul to make sure that I leave the city of Chester in a better place than when I was positioned with it. So again, there is no book, no Bible, no procedures on what it is as an elected official that you have to do, depending on what department you're over here in the city of Chester when you take on this role. It's just something that you just you go in there, you jump into an ocean and you try to float away and swim to sand and to sea, and be able to kind of manage and navigate your way through it all. And I truly think that I've been able to do that. I know when I first came into the position in 2016, I was pretty silent in a lot of my meetings. Not that I didn't want to speak up, but I definitely didn't want to step on anybody's toes. You got to think about it. I'm the youngest elected official here in the city of Chester. When I was elected, I was 26 years old. And my colleagues have been in the city government or state government for more years than I have. They've fought to get into these positions as well. So being respectful of their time, being respectful of the things that they're speaking about within their departments, I had to take a step back and really learn and listen to the things that they were putting forth and offering before I would try to chime in on things, for sure. But what I will say is that now, 6 years in, I guess, or coming up on 6 years in, when I sit in these meetings, people listen. I'm not just talking about mayor and council. It can be department heads, but people listen. I actually have a voice for the community, for the proper change, for projects that we need to do and create and prioritize here in the city of Chester. And again, all respect to my colleagues. I am not saying that they didn't listen to me before, but I wanted to make sure that I was able to pull my chair up to the table and offer some valued, important resource and knowledge to the table. And I think that I'm definitely doing that at the current moment, and that's a fact. One thing that I don't like about the position is that oftentimes as deputy mayor or as council person, especially over the money department, there are many things that come to my plate, such as payroll, such as purchasing of the proper equipment, such as human resource and personnel issues. I get calls at 2 a.m. in the morning from the fire department or the police department when there are issues going on in the community. And oftentimes I tell them, listen, I'm not a firefighter, so I'm not going out and running into the burning building. Not that I don't believe that I can do that. I got complete confidence in myself. But we have the adequate personnel that are trained and certified to do just those things. That's what we hire them for. So oftentimes I tell my commissioners, hey, call me when everything is settled, when everything is safe, and let me know if there's any issues or concerns with personnel in the community at large. So I want to give kudos to those individuals in the police and fire because they do a great job here in the city of Chester. A lot of homegrown people here, born and raised here in the city of Chester, are on those beats and platoons. But those are the moments that I don't like the position that I'm in, because it's always a nerve-wracking when you know that you might be losing somebody and or hurting somebody within the community because they're going through something within their personal life or something that's safety related. So continuing on a little bit about myself. At the top of the year, there was a lot of controversy and shenanigans going on with mayor and council. There were, in particular, there was one, court order that was handed down that really spelled out in detailed information about myself as the elected official and the director of accounts and finance, human resources for the city of Chester. What I want to do is I want to briefly highlight on some of that. I don't want to get too deep into it, but I do think that it's important as the elected official for me to speak out on it, to offer my insight, to tell you a little bit about it if you have not heard about it, and to know simply the outcome. So back in, I want to say March, there was an order by the receiver to try to strip, in a nutshell, was to strip myself of my elected powers as a council person. Primarily, there were about 7 or 8 orders or reasonings to this, but I think there are 2 that are most alarming that I want to bring to the table and give some insight on. The first one that I want to speak about is myself providing $1,500 or $1,500 to a department here in the city of Chester to provide or to receive gift cards and provide those and purchase toys for Toys for Tots for our annual Toys for Tots program that we do every year here in the city of Chester. So on an annual basis, we usually partner with Delaware County Toys for Tots, but for some odd reason, Delaware County Toys for Tots has suspended its program in 2021, and we weren't made aware of until pretty much the 11th hour in December. So our normal process, we push out Toys for Tots, we advertise it, and residents can come over to City Hall and apply or put their name and their family's name on the application to receive toys for the holiday season. So at the 11th hour, we pretty much didn't have any toys to give out. And one thing about me is that I know it's important as a parent to wake up in the morning, any given day, but definitely during the holiday season, and see the smile on your kids' faces. It's so it's heartwarming, and I couldn't allow that to go on. So what I did was, we went ahead and purchased gift cards so that we can purchase toys for Toys for Tots and give those toys to those families. So I went ahead and did that. There was an issue with receipts. We had the receipts for the gift card purchases, but we misplaced at one point the receipts for the toy purchases. And that was one of the things that was in the order. Pretty much they were saying, where did the gift cards go? Or who did the gift cards go to, or what were they spent on? So we ended up making sure that we provided the receipts of the toy purchases, which majority of them were for Five Below. And that was something that was a successful turnaround, but that was alarming because individuals were thinking, or some may have thought, that the funds were going to whomever and it wasn't for toys. So families were excited, kids were happy. They were able to get the toys for the holiday season. So again, that's something that I will do for anything and anybody to make sure that we're able to put a smile on these kids' faces. I know it's important, again, as a parent. So that was one of the instances. And then there was a second one that I think is alarming as well. In the order, it spoke about myself providing roughly $150,000 to certain employees. And the language in there is sort of accurate. I'm going to tell you why I say sort of, because, I did provide hazard pay, premium pay to certain employees. The city of Chester received quite a bit of money for the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. What the American Rescue Plan Act is monies that were handed down from federal government, from the Department of Treasury, to provide a resource and to decrease the health pandemic or to make people whole that may have been laid off, or returning people back to work. And one of the, I guess, allowable expenses of the money was to give employees hazard pay for working through the health pandemic. So pretty much those years of the year of 2020 and 2021, if you had employees that worked through the pandemic, had to exit their homes, or had to work in the public, and put their health, their lives at risk of contracting COVID-19, the American Rescue Plan said that the local government could provide money to its employees that were eligible and worked through that pandemic, to pretty much just say your thank you and appreciation. So that's what the city of Chester wanted to do. We came up with a plan to provide a hazard pay to employees. However, there was a certain department of employees that the receivers team did not agree should receive hazard pay. And we went back and forth via email, via conversations on why they should receive it. There was a collective bargaining agreement that was going on at the time, negotiations between both parties, and the Teamsters, or that department, or the Teamsters, those employees did not approve of the collective bargaining agreement for whatever reason that they wanted in it. At that time, because they didn't approve of it, the receivers team didn't believe that those individuals should receive hazard pay. So again, I don't agree with that, and I'm not no chump. I'm not going to allow individuals to, I won't say tell us what to do, but fair is fair, right is right, wrong is wrong. And the hazard pay and American Rescue Plan said one thing, and we believe that the American Rescue Plan funds had nothing to do with collective bargaining negotiations. So we paid those funds to those individuals who were appreciative, thankful of mayor and council approving to pay those hazard pay, premium pay to those certain employees. So again, through it all, there were a few other things and actions in that order. We went to court. The judge, I would say, ruled in the city of Chester's favor and in my favor, but more so said that mayor and council needs to coordinate collaboratively and partner with the receivers team. And we should not be coming to court for these types of issues or discussions moving forward. So I'm glad I can say that I'm still here as the elected official. I'm still here directing and overseeing of the department. However, what that is going on with the collaboration of the receivers team. Since that meeting, I can honestly say that mayor and council has been able to work progressively with them. Not that we weren't before, But like any business projects, you have your disagreements on things, and you have your agreements on things that you want to move forward with. And sometimes you have the same type of end goal, but sometimes someone has a straightforward way of getting there, and others can have a snake shaped of how to get to that end goal. So nonetheless, we've been able to push certain resolutions forward. We've been able to get certain, not surveys, but projects moving forward and completed with the help of the receivers team, with the help of mayor and council. So we are moving progressively together on certain items, and I'm glad we pretty much had that touch up for us all, because we don't need you all to suffer from things that we got going on behind those walls. So I'm glad that, again, we've been able to move forward with that. Now that we're there, and I'm still here, and there's a few things that I want to say that I think there's areas of focus of myself. Before I get there, we take this position, that oath of office, with a lot of dignity. And we do that knowing that as elected officials that you're going to hold us accountable and responsible for things that's going on in this city. And I'm thick-skinned, and again, I'm unfiltered. So if there's a problem with my department or with something else going on in the city, bring it to our attention. You got to be vocal. You got to voice those things so that we can know how to address it. There was something that came up a few weeks ago, and we were, I guess, being reactive on it to some degree, but we weren't aware of things that was going on in this particular neighborhood. So unfortunately, it's taken some time, or it has taken us time to try to address it. But I want us, and I want this platform to be transparent. I want it to be open, an open door policy for you all to come here and speak on things. If you can't make it to council meetings, or if you just want to remain anonymous. So, and that's completely fine with me. But again, I don't take nothing for granted. This position, I don't take it for granted. I'm all in together of moving the city of Chester forward. My man Pierre said it before to me. It's a reason why the word unity is in community, and we can't do this alone. We can't find ways to decrease the crime alone, just on the police end and just on mayor and council's end. We need the neighborhoods and the community to speak up on it. We can't find ways to change our zoning ordinances and permits and licenses unless you all speak up on those things. Now, we can go ahead and update and amend certain items, but we want to hear from the community on how it's fitting and how the process works for you all, so we can know what we need to adjust and to change. Again, we're here to serve you. We're here to hopefully make your lives a little bit easier. So bring that stuff to the table. We want to be, I want to be responsible and accountable for those types of things, and hold me accountable to that. I got thick skin. I can take it for sure. So that's how we're going to move this ship forward. Again, I'm very unfiltered in meetings, and if people that work with me, if you know them, they'll tell you, I'll cuss them out in a heartbeat. If shit ain't getting done, we got to put the foot to the fire. Like, we got to put the gas on it. So we got to get things done. I don't run this like politics. I run it like it's a business. And we got to adhere to the issues that we have going on. And when credit is due, provide that credit. Don't just come to us with the negativity, or don't just come to me with the negativity. Provide appreciation and thankfulness as well, because this takes a toll on not just me, but others for sure, and those workers as well. They do a lot. They do a lot with limited resources, and they deserve the applause every day that they wake up and are able to go out here and serve the community. A few things that I want to speak on as far as areas of focus for myself. As a director of accounts and finance, I'm tasked with pretty much finding ways to either decrease expenses or increase revenue. So depending on what side you're on, it could be a tough conversation to have, but we have increased rates and revenue here in the city of Chester, but the issue is that expenses continue to go up, whether that's for employees' health care, whether that's for the replacement of street lights and poles and road repavement programs. Cost for supplies and material are always going up or has continued to go up, and it's hard for us as a local government to keep up with the cost of inflation. So it's been a very tough task, but there are some things that we have been able to done to decrease expenses here in the city of Chester, such as our healthcare plan and moving a good amount of our retirees to a Medicare supplement plan that saved the city over $5 million on an annual basis. So things like that are things that we look at, try to audit, and get moving forward on those types of projects. Some of you might be listening and say, that's a great amount, in which it's a great amount, but the city is in a deeper hole than that, and there needs to be other things that need to be addressed. But one of the things that I think that needs to be addressed and needs to be a vocal point for us all is the economic development. We have a great amount of vacant buildings, commercial and residential, and a good amount of those buildings are blighted, meaning they are an eyesore to the community. They're either hazardous or unsafe as standing structures, and we need to put a huge emphasis on developing and rehabilitating those properties, if not tearing them down. So we're looking at how do we find out how we create wealth opportunities for those people that live here, create home ownership opportunities for the people that live here or that want to live here, and allowing for our people here in the city of Chester to become not only homeowners but property owners, I would say, because you might live in a property on a particular street or block here in the city of Chester, but if you own another facility here in the city of Chester and you're able to adaptive reuse of that property, rehabilitate it and put it to some form of use and offer a home ownership and or just some shelter for somebody. Those are the things that we need to do here in the city of Chester to increase the tax base in the city of Chester as well. So economic development is a huge point for me of emphasis. I can't speak a lot on some things that we have coming down a pipeline. I will say it has been very, very tough to get the projects moving forward because of inflation, because of the market and these interest rates and everything that's going on. The cost of construction has gone up tremendously, roughly about 30 to 40%. So it has been tough to do ground up development, but that's a part of some of the things that I'm tasked with, a part of the platform that I ran on and things that I want to talk about and continue to push forward with. We deserve everything here in the city of Chester, whether that's on the recreational side, whether it's food, whether it's business opportunities, entrepreneurship. Like, we deserve all of those things that the other communities that you drive to have in their community. So me, myself, Mayor and Council, we're going to do everything we can to take an ounce, an inch, a step forward every day within the conversations and try to put the right policies and procedures forth to kind of execute on the plan of creating development opportunities here for the Black and brown people and for other developers that see the city of Chester as a prime area for development, as we are central to a lot, whether it's trail, rail, water, air. We have it all here. So that's a form of my marketing to everybody that might be listening. Another thing that we need to improve on is the blight remediation here in the city of Chester. So in our licenses and inspection, health department, code enforcement, they do a great job with the work, with the resources that they are handed down with. Again, we need that collaboration with the community. But it's an area of focus, an area of improvement that we're going to look to do. We're going to try to find out how we create a smooth, more concise process for those individuals, contractors, or landlords, for those people that need to come in and get their permits, inspections, and whatnot. We're going to try to see how we can create a better process for you all. And we're also going to find out how we hold these landlords accountable. There's a lot of landlords here that are slumlords, Some of them you might live next door to. In true transparency, some of them you really know. You got contacts in your phone. They slum landlords, and I'll just say it like that. So they might be local here in the city of Chester, or they might be in Florida somewhere. Who knows? But we are going to look to come up with a true plan to go after these landlords, whether it's taxing or whether it's taking them to court. So that's one of the things that we're going to put a huge emphasis on, not next year, but this year. And that's something that's coming down the pipeline as well, as revamping the things that we do within that department. And another area that I'll speak on, not a lot, but is career opportunities. So I always speak about career opportunities. Jobs, I'm not opposed to a job. I mean, you get your funds, you get your money, you take care of your family. You got to bring the baking soda in the crib for the fridge. You got to do what you got to do, most certainly. But we need to make sure that we're offering career opportunities to our folk. And what I mean by career opportunities, that's offering retirement planning, health care, pensions, different things like that, to set their families up for a long-term, affluent future. So offering career opportunities with our workforce development, partner with the school district to make sure that we're not setting our children up for failure. And what I mean by that is that I know that I believe that the individuals, or the teachers, the faculty at the school district are doing everything they can to educate our children. But I want to make sure, and again, I don't have oversight of the school district, and I'm not talking down on the school district, but I want to make sure, not just in the school district, but in any other institution that we have, that we're providing adequate resource and education to not set them up for the current setting, but setting them up for a long term. I think we do a disservice to ourselves by teaching or talking about the things that will allow them just to pass through and get their diplomas and whatnot. But we need to be talking more about NFTs. We need to talk more about coding and the stock market. We need to talk more about technology and trades such as welding and electricians. These are things that aren't going away. Things that are current here in the future and are going to bloom over the next couple of years. So we need to make sure that we're being a resource to those individuals in that market as well. So we have a great relationship with the school district. We have some great relationships with developers and, of course, our code enforcement department. Those are some things that I want to be a part of. I want to increase the visibility on here in the city of Chester. They're important to me. They're important to you. And in turn, with all of those things and many more, we can continue to right the ship of the city of Chester and allow it to blossom into the city that we all know it can be. We should be able to drive and or walk from our location into our beautiful waterfront that we have as you safely walk around 291. So we need to create safe corridors to allow pedestrians to cross 291 without wondering how much time they got to have to cross the street. So things like that we want to focus on. We want to make sure that you appreciate the assets that we have here, not the ones that we're looking for, but the ones that we have here. And we have some beautiful people here. We have a lot of pride, as you all know, for our city. So we just need to be attentive of that and support each other on the things that we're doing here in the city of Chester. Again, this is Cool Ass Conversations with Will. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, you can email Cool Ass Conversations with Will. That's Cool Ass with a SS, Conversations with Will at gmail.com. My next episode, I'll be able to provide some comments if I receive any from individuals that might be able to provide some information. The last few things that I'll speak on and I'll leave you with before I wrap this up and get out of here. Again, I'm only doing this twice a month. My next show will be July 27th, where I'll bring some other information to you, speak on council meetings as well, and be able to provide a guest here with me to talk about something that I think that is important here in the community. That's going to be July 27th. But last week, I think it was last week, every weekend, 4th of July, I'll just say, there was a lot of comments about not having the 4th of July festivities, all because of a performer and an artist. My last 2 cents on this before we move forward, because it is behind us. 4th of July was a success. There were a lot of people that said that we shouldn't have it for, I guess, because of the artist, but we all know that our culture, or the people that we listen to, whether it's Lil Baby, Da Baby, Meg and Cardi or whatnot, that's a part of our culture. That's things that we listen to, whether it's in our households or on the radio. And we get excited to listen to those new musics. And for somebody like myself, or like people in my era or in my age bracket, they grew up off of I'll just say the Trinas and the others that was in that time frame. So 4th of July was a success. I'm thankful for all of those people who said they wouldn't come out or that it should be canceled. I seen a good amount of those people at 4th of July. So kudos to you for showing up. And for those people that just wanted to come out and get out the house and enjoy the tremendous festivities. So thankful to everybody that put it together. One thing that I will say, and I said this in the council meeting today, 4th of July was 100% funded through donations and sponsorships. So that's the fireworks, that's the vendors, that's the performers and the artists. Not $1 came from the general fund budget of the city of Chester. It was all funded through sponsorships and donations. So we don't have an issue with that. The fireworks was amazing. The performances was amazing. The local artists, they did their thing, of course. So I'm thankful that everything happened the way it did, and that you, the community, showed up, showed out, and went home safely. We didn't have any incidents like others in other cities or other states. The city of Chester, we are a loving city. We got a lot of pride for ourselves and for one another, for sure. Unfortunately, we do have some bad apples that can ruin it and put a dark light on the city of Chester. But we good people here, and we get a bad rap. We do get a bad rap. So, but you all came out and enjoyed yourselves and went home safely, and I'm thankful for that. So thank you all for those. The last thing I'll speak on before I get up out of here and let you get back to your dinner, or get to your dinner if you're cooking, is the American Rescue Plan. Next Wednesday at 5 p.m. I won't be here because I will be at Chester City Hall in the council chambers, as I will be hosting and presenting on the American Rescue Plan. So it'll be July 20th at 5 p.m. The meeting is a public meeting, so you can come in person, or you can view the live stream via Facebook on the City of Chester's website as well. So the American Rescue Plan is for you. You'll come and hear and learn about the American Rescue Plan, the do's and don'ts of it, and you'll understand or hear about what the city intends to use the monies on. Right now, just to give you a sneak peek, we do have money that we're trying to earmark for facade improvements for homeowners, facade improvements for business owners, technical assistance program for business owners. We're trying to do things like a 6th Street Bridge to bring 6th Street Bridge back operational. There is a technology improvements to offer the city of Chester to allow us to have better connectivity to you all. As you might see if you watch the council meetings, the camera is positioned differently. Hopefully you can hear us better, but we put some of the money forth to improve our technology so that you all can be a part of the things that we're talking about and speaking on. So again, July 20th at 5 p.m. in Chester City Hall, and the council chambers on the 2nd floor will be the public meeting for the American Rescue Plan. And if you're not able to make it, it'll be live streamed as well. This will be the first meeting of many. We're going to be completely transparent and offer project updates as well. Again, it's the first of many. So you can go on the City of Chester's website, Facebook page, and see that flyer, see what we're going to talk about, and just to make sure that you put it in your calendars. Again, that's July 20th at 5 p.m. at Chester City Hall. My quote of the day, I seen this from one of my good friends, ZS. He said, "Practice doesn't make perfect. It makes improvement." Or actually it says practice makes improvement, not perfect. So every time I come up here, I want to make sure I get an ounce better of presenting to you all, of providing the information that you deem necessary and vital to your everyday needs. And I would expect you all to do the same. I'm thankful every day that the good Lord allows my feet to touch the ground, allows me another opportunity to get better in life and for my family and for you all, for the community that I serve. So again, practice creates improvement and doesn't make you perfect. And I'm not perfect either. Neither are the individuals that sit on council. So I just want you to understand that we're human as well. I don't want to, we make mistakes or sometimes decisions that don't necessarily agree with all. But trust me, I do think that we're trying to do the best possible to make the positive changes in one's life. And the reason I'll give you one last example before I leave. A few months ago, there was a business that tried to come to the city of Chester that wanted to be a lounge and offer hookah. Now, probably illegally, possibly, there are some other businesses here in the city of Chester that offer hookah. But the city of Chester had something on the books that did not allow for business establishments to allow hookah in their business, to serve hookah. So we looked at that ordinance. We wanted to make those adjustments and changes. Hookah, whether it's, I won't say it's the healthiest thing for you all to do, but y'all do it, and it's a part of your culture. It's a part of your therapy, your happy hour, whatnot. So those are the things that we try to get better with, especially when those things are brought to the table. Again, we know some of our ordinances are old and antiquated and out of date, out of touch, and we're doing some thorough reviews on that. But if you bring issues and concerns to us, we'll make sure that we are able to look at them, and I won't say we'll always adjust them, but just know that we'll make sure we put the proper eyes on them to see what we can do to move forward. So I thank you all, whoever is out there that has been able to enjoy the conversation that I've been able to put forth with Cool Ass Conversations with Will. Again, I'll be here in 2 weeks, July 27th at 5 p.m. Have a special guest with me to talk about some things. I won't give you all of the tea because I want you to be here. So thank you again. This episode is Cool Ass Conversations with Will, sponsored by Morgan's Consulting. Again, email coolassconversationswithwill@gmail.com to give me some insight. Tell me how I can improve. Tell me something that you need done, if it or anything, and leave the BS at home. So thank you. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Salute. I'm out.